When I heard we were going to have a centennial over a year ago, I got so many emotions. And very, very slowly, I had told Michael I was writing a song about Unity of Indianapolis for the centennial. And as the months went on, it was started, and I played the opening strains for him. He said, "You better hurry up." So I asked Spirit, and the rest of it was given. I absolutely hope that I can get through it. Many of you here have touched me so deeply that you may not have any idea of it. Some of you have become like family. And even if I haven't spoken to you for a very long time, you know who you are. And to see you back here is miraculous for me. But there are also new friends that I have made that are the new wave. And here's one. And he so kindly consented to help me with this. And this is called A Holy Place. Okay, Don, I think I'm ready. I hope. This is a holy place, and every face I see here is a holy face, an expression of the light, a reflection of the Christ. This is a holy place.
This is a sacred space, a place where broken hearts can mend and rise in grace, a place condemning none, uplifting everyone. This is a sacred space.
There's nothing you need to say.
There's nothing you need to do
except to grow into the most authentic, perfect you. For this is a holy place where lives can change, where limitations are erased.
We come to know our worth, our purpose here on earth. This is a sacred space.
Yes, this is a holy place.
Whatever has brought you here, there's nothing for you to fear.
For you are loved just as you are, and many friends are near. This is a sacred space
where lives can change,
where limitations are erased.
We come to know our worth, our purpose here on earth. Here in this sacred space. Yes, this is a holy place.
My turn. I think so. Sally, I heard the lyrics to that. She gave me a copy of them yesterday. And I was moved deeply when I just read them, let alone when I heard you sing them from your heart today. They're absolutely gorgeous. Whew. Well, as Bob said, there's two different titles that we're working from today. However, I never allowed a title to get in the way of my message. So I feel quite comfortable up here today, a little bit nervous. You know, it's been a long time since I've been here. But you know, from the time I got off the plane with Danny and Paul greeting me, I'm staying with them during the weekend, coming to the gala affair last night, here this morning, I just feel enveloped in love, and acceptance, and joy. Sometimes words are just ineffable to describe the feeling. And I know that each of you know that feeling of being loved when you're open and receptive and just allow people to love you. And that's the feeling that I have this morning. Can't begin to tell you how much I appreciate being invited to be here. Yeah, it's a real privilege. It really is. And I'm disappointed that Alice could not be here. Yes, of course she wanted to be here. But she fell. She hurt her back. But nothing was broken, nothing fractured. She just has to recover. And she's in excellent care, surrounded by our family, so she's good. I've only talked to her 8 times since I've left. She assured me she was well taken care of. So she's with us this morning in prayer. She says, "Give him a good one." I said, "Well, I'll do my best." Have you ever had that feeling, as I have many times, that there's just got to be more to life than what we're experiencing now? There's got to be more to the fear that we're going through, to the angst, the emotions, all the stuff of life. There's got to be more to it. Probably one of the reasons why we come to church, isn't it? Trying to find something that maybe we'll hear something. Maybe something will happen. We are all on an evolutionary journey. The whole universe is. And we are a part of the evolutionary process as human beings. We're one of the highest forms of creative expression. And we're moving in consciousness. That's our part. We are moving in consciousness from human doers to human beings. We're moving into a whole new realm of consciousness. And that evolution cannot be stopped. The whole universe is moving at the same time, and we're simply a part of that. But we can get in the way. We can get in the way and only delay it in time for our personal selves. And we do that simply by doing the same stuff we've been doing all of our life. And what almost every person on the planet's been doing is that we've been focusing out here expecting something out there to change and make us happy, to bring us joy. And it does temporarily, but then we lose it again. We just don't seem to be able to hold on to that. The journey means this. It means that we can cooperate with the process of rising in consciousness where the peace of God that passes all understanding is. It's within us. It's always been within us. It never was out there. And no matter what we do out here, we will never be satisfied because it cannot satisfy us. Everything outside of our bodies included out here is all temporary. It goes. It comes. So how can we possibly know peace and joy and being happy? How can we know this all the time? Well, I'll tell you right now, it's not going to happen overnight. But there are some tools that we can use to allow us to advance from total control from the outside to control from our true self inside. I'm going to share some of those tools with you today. I want to give you an illustration. And it's just one of many that we all have. The morning before I came here, I got a letter. And the letter looked very official. Now, there's a part of me that already said, uh-oh. You know, one of those lawyer-looking letters? It was from a collection agency. And it said I owed money to someone, to some organization. Well, I was astounded. I was shocked, and I was really angry. How could I have done this? How could I have missed this payment? How could this happen to me when I'm so careful about everything? And I was really upset, and before you know it, I was in a turmoil that I was losing it. And I caught myself doing my rain dance, all for $20.54, by the way. And I said to myself, stop it, stand still. Stand still. Those thoughts and those feelings was something I was creating because that's what I've always done. And we all do it over and over and over again. It's like we're on automatic. There's nothing creative about the human consciousness. It is simply a repetition. It is a mental construction, if you will. A mental construction. Something that we have taken on since birth. And we decided who we are based on what other people told us we are. And we don't question it. Okay. So after I settled down for a few moments, I began to look at, and this is part of my process now, I said, what am I feeling? The feeling that I had was failure, again, guilty, that shouldn't have happened, etc. What I do with things like this, these are some of the tools I use. When did I first feel this way? When did I first feel this way? It took me right back. I didn't do anything with the feelings. I just let them be. Didn't judge them. I didn't judge myself for judging. Okay, I'm simply there. When did I first feel this way? It came right up to me when I was 4 years old. I could see myself in the dining room of my home, and my father was trying to teach me how to be a man at 4 years old. My mother wanted a girl, and she kept me in curls until I was almost 3 years old, and put dresses on me. And my father said, enough of this. And he says, I'm not going to have a son that's going to be a sissy. So here I am at 4 years old. I'm quite small to begin with, and I was about this high, I guess, not very high. And he gives me some boxing gloves, regular boxing gloves, and here I am like this. See? And he says, hit me. I couldn't even pick up the gloves. But he said, let me show you, like this, like this. Well, I did my best to get these boxing gloves up and get them hit. Could not do it. And finally, he gave up. And I felt like he gave up in disgust. I felt like I had disappointed my father. I felt like a failure. I gave up my innocence at that point. I became a wounded person. When a child is wounded, it leaves a hole right here. And we all do it. We don't even realize what it is that we're doing. The hole can only be filled up with love, new understanding, forgiveness, surrendering our stuff. That wound I have carried for I am 82 years old. And it's still there. But now it's being healed. Because I have some new tools to work with, and I'm also learning how to love that part of me that I call Dickie. That little boy that's still within me. That little girl that's within you. So forth. Was he a failure? See, and that's the next question that I asked in my own process. Was he really a failure and guilty? Of course not. We can see that now. He was 4 years old. He couldn't even begin to do the stuff that his dad wanted him to, regardless of his motive. And now I can take Dickie and say, it's okay, buddy. It's okay. You're not a failure. You're my beloved son. And that kind of a inner kind of dialogue really makes a huge difference. And you can wipe out, and I have done this, whole parts of my history of repeatedness, not good enough, not measuring up, so forth. My victim syndrome that you carry with you as a way of relating to other people in order to get their attention, get their love, get approval, and so forth. And this is what the human condition is today. This is what we do. This is what we believe we are, and it's all a lie. That's not who we are. We are loving souls. We are caring souls. But we hide it behind this human mask, pretending to be who we're not. And even when we, even with our own spirituality, we come to church, and time again, we're told you're a child of God, and so forth and so on. And it's true, but why isn't our life changing? Why are we not moving into that kingdom of heaven. Isn't that what Jesus said? Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and everything else would be, what? Added unto you. Yeah. Well, what was he talking about? He's talking about the shift in consciousness. He knew back then. See, we're just putting it in different words today, that's all. The evolutionary process has been going on. And so here we are today, we're saying, we're questioning, and thank God we have the ability to question here, especially in unity. We have that openness in our philosophy that allows us to examine all the teachings and question them. And when we go into prayer, we say, what am I to learn from this? With an open mind, we get answers. What am I to learn from this? I find that is one of those phrases that I use all along the way. I find it extremely helpful. So how do we move? How do we move into this greater consciousness? Now, I have heard, and I've said it myself, this spiritual path, maybe in several lifetimes I'll move up the track a little bit. Yeah. Which gives us a belief that maybe reincarnation might be true. Maybe some of us are really hoping it will be, because we're not going to make it this time. I've heard many, many times, repeated it myself, this spiritual journey is really hard. Have you ever found yourself saying that? I seem to pray, and this doesn't work, and that doesn't work, and it gets harder. And it isn't hard. It's hard because we have believed that it's hard. And if you believe something, it will definitely be true for you. But let me tell you how easy it is. First of all, I want to address the whole subject of meditation in a very few words. Some people believe that the longer you meditate, the more holy you become. It's a lie. You're already holy. You were born that way, that can't change. You're already spiritual, that can't change. It's the only part of you that will continue to exist eternally. It is your true self. So what we're really doing is looking at this a little differently. The only time you've got to know God, the only time that you have to align yourself with God is now. Not tomorrow, not yesterday, but right now. This moment, and this moment, and this moment. This is the only time you can know God. My very busy mind keeps me from knowing who I am truly. So one of the things that I can do is not meditate for hours, which is certainly good, it's fine. See, by the way, this is not a put down of any tradition or practice. Whatever works for you. But this is what I'm finding out for myself. This is what I do now. I usually meditate about 20 minutes a day. Most days. Not every day, but most days. Alice and I usually meditate together. That's our thing. But more important to that is that, and this is another tool I want to share with you. When you take a breath, okay, and you focus on the breath entirely, when you feel in detail, feel the air going in through the nostril, feel your chest rising and falling, feel the tummy going up and down, Let that focus be right there. As you're doing that, you cannot think at the same time. You've turned off your thinker. And every time you turn off your thinker, you're increasing your presence. You're increasing your alignment with Spirit. Now I'm going to give you an illustration. I'm going to have a big balloon here. You see it? Okay, and here's a little balloon over here. I'm going to lose my stuff here if I don't look out. Okay. And the big balloon is my human consciousness. I'm going to call it simply the ego. Okay? It believes it knows everything. Okay? It has a need to be right. It is always wanting something it doesn't have. It is never satisfied. Its moments of happiness and joy are very limited. They come and go. It needs your adulation. It needs to be recognized. It needs to know that it's loved by someone else other than itself. It's very needy in order to exist. This we created unconsciously. And we've come to believe that we're it. And that's not who we are. But that's what we have come to believe that we are. Over here is our spiritual identity. This is our human identity. Here's this little balloon. It only seems to be little. But this is our spiritual identity. This is forever. Like those postage stamps you buy now. This is forever. This is temporary. Comes and goes. Okay? Including the body. Okay. So, how do we shift our awareness? And this is what we're attempting to do. We're attempting to let our awareness be shifted from living here to more over here. As we move over here, what's happening is that now this is becoming aligned with, and now we're bringing this kind of intelligence, all-knowingness, into what all of our doing is about. And now our doing, when it's aligned with God, presence, Spirit, whatever you want to call it, this comes out now with quality. It's a whole different life. It's a whole different relationship with every other person in the universe. Everything looks different. Death is no longer feared. The peace of God is part of what I am and what I experience each day. I don't become a part of other people's rain dances. I don't extend their stuff. I just observe it. Every time I take a breath, okay, in this particular way, I am shifting energy, which kind of keeps all this big balloon going over here. I'm bringing it right over here to presence, and this is getting a little bit larger. Now, that's just a few seconds of breathing. I'm not talking about breathing for hours here. I'm talking about just a few seconds of breathing. 4 or 5 breaths is enough with your total focus right here, and this becomes larger and larger. Even doing that little bit, and this, by the way, I do this throughout the whole week. Whenever I start to I feel upset or nervous or something, start breathing a little bit, and sure enough, this fades away, this gets larger, more peace comes, and it's cumulative. It gets better and better and better. The shift is beyond what I can put into words. But let me say this. Either you and I do something to allow that to happen. See, we can't make ourselves spiritual. We can't make ourselves more spiritual because we are already it. but we can, as I mentioned before, we can get in the way. So this opening process is what allows us to see this world differently and come from a totally different place. I want to give you another method here. I want you to, by the way, I can do that even when I'm driving. I don't have to close my eyes to breathe. And I become much more aware of the traffic. There's more quality in what I do because now I'm slowing down. Things are changing in my life dramatically. Feel the energy inside your hands. Just feel it. Feel the aliveness underneath the skin. We all got it. Now feel it in your kneecaps. Feel it. Feel the energy in your face. Underneath the skin. It's all there. Formless presence in a way that you can feel it. The energy is a very life itself, flowing through our bodies. The life that controls 1,000 different functions in our body, which we haven't begun to understand yet. When you lose touch, the awareness of that life in your body, life is pretty flat. And life seems to have less and less meaning. Just taking a few seconds to feel that energy is another way of bringing presence into your life. Those little ways, practiced every day, a little bit every day, and you don't have to set a time. It will come to your mind what to do, when to do it. And I simply use my emotions to tell me it's time. Now, men, I have a message just for you. First of all, men have feelings, ladies. I do want you to know that. Okay? And if your partner has been saying to you, what do you feel? And you feel like they're nagging, they are. But they're probably at the same time unaware that they're probably asking you for you to be aware of the greatest gift that you have to give yourself. And it's not so much that that you need to tell them how you feel, so much as you have to know how you feel. Know your own emotions, because they're the very key to the healing of this universe. Because every emotion that you feel comes with a gift. A gift. And when you say, what am I to learn from this? And you can only do that if you're willing to feel, okay, and acknowledge, and don't judge yourself because you got feelings. They're supposed to be there. They become the gift that says, this is the message I have for you. And when you ask, what am I learning from this? You drop it. And you let Spirit answer it in its time, not yours. And it will be at the perfect time and in the most unexpected way. And that's part of the mystery of God. That's just the way it works. That's one of the neat things. We don't have to understand the mystery of God. We simply let God be God. This is the way. This is the way that we're choosing heaven today. This is the way that we choose heaven in every now moment. Remember I said this is the only time you can know God? Right now. This is it. And you get to decide how you want to show up on the earth. Everyone here is one of God's beautiful lights. You heard the song that was written by Sally. The words say it so clearly. When Jesus said, "You are the light of the world," the ego says, "Oh yeah, I'm the light of the world." So next, when we come to really grab hold of that, and that only happens as we begin this shift in consciousness, okay? When we get that, it is now we have a new responsibility, and that is to let it shine. And we let it shine as connections with other people, heart connections. We let it shine as compassionate listening, holding sacred space, just like your prayer chaplains do. That's what we're about. I simply invite you to join me in choosing heaven now. God bless you.